Hey, what's going on everyone? Sparks again with another character discussion video. Were you one of those kids who was really into dodgeball? Like, you were the person everyone would look to when teams were being made? Well then do I have the character for you. Layle got a rework along with his LD and burst, and after a lucky pull for his LD and a surprise burst, this man now has 2 purple balls in his arsenal for me. If you're interested in what this constant launcher does, what he offers to a team, and what I think of him, stick around and find out. Layle is a magic damage dealer who focuses on making launches more frequent, putting extra power into any launches he starts. With his skill 1, he applies a frame debuff that halves the amount of attacks you need to launch any target normally, and with his skill 2, he can almost assuredly launch a single target. With his EX, he'll always launch one target while also prepping all other targets to be launched, and with his EX buff, he makes it even easier for the whole party to initiate launches. With his LD, he gains a bit of self-turn manipulation, and when he initiates a launch, all party members participate no matter where they are in the turn order, as well as providing brave return based on the launch's HP damage. His skill 1 is Field Burst, which first batteries the party before 3 group hits and splash HP damage. For Layle, this gives him a generic max bravery buff, and onto all targets applies a speed debuff and Layle's unique debuff, Force. All of Layle's moves will hit weakness when that target has force applied, but more importantly, what it does is it makes all enemies much easier to be launched. If you're not sure how launching works, I'll link you an older video of mine in the corner and in the description, but basically, the force debuff means you'll get at least twice as many launches as you would otherwise. His skill 2 is Energy Gain, which also batteries the party before a 4-hit attack that will delay the target and has a high chance of launching them. This move has high turn rate and will give Layle a generic buff for magic attack, and as mentioned earlier, will do weakness damage if the target has his force debuff on them. His EX is, I think, pronounced Guy Bolga. At base, 4 group hits with single target HP damage and will hit force weakness. This will always launch a targeted enemy and prep the others for launch. This gives Layle a frame buff, Clavodian Heart, which raises the party's max bravery, attack, and has him do additional chase HP damage. His EX Plus, if I'm being honest, is not that great, but that's kinda also due to how strong reworks are. I mean, just look at LD Tifa. Realizing the EX improves the potency and the overflow of the cast. The overflow is very appreciated since it's a multi-hit group attack. 1 ingot is a stat boost as well as some enhanced HP attacks, but those are not worth talking about. 2 ingots gives Layle his buffs from his skill 1 and skill 2 at the start of the quest. 3 ingots doubles the hits of the EX cast to 8, greatly increases the overflow, and extends all of his existing buffs 1 turn. His LD is Geo Impact, and the first thing that happens is Layle chooses which party member he wants to go after next in the turn order. Once chosen, the party is batteried, and then Layle does a 5-hit group attack with split HP damage twice, hitting force weakness, providing brave return for Layle, launching the main target, and prepping the other targets to be launched. This will also apply an extra long force debuff onto all targets. This gives him a unique effect, Shining Cheek, which raises his attack, overflow, and grants him regen. This will battery the party based on the HP damage done in a turn, and any launches started by Layle will get all other party members into the air regardless of where they are in the turn order. If you're not sure why that's a special thing, I encourage you to go check out my video on launches, which will be linked below. Each use of Geo Impact will also change Layle's HP attack for 1 use, which will battery the party before a 3-hit HP attack that will always launch the target. The LD passive raises Layle's attack, max bravery, and will auto-apply force onto all targets at the start of each wave or when Layle enters the field as a call. His burst finisher is the Big Finale, 15 group hits that deal split HP damage and can hit force weakness. The burst aura makes it a lot easier for the whole party to start launches, increases the max bravery cap, and like his unique effect, will battery the party after any HP attacks done. Layle is the last of the current launching units to get an update, but in my opinion, he's the most interesting. The average launch HP of an enemy is 40. Layle's force debuff has that to 20, and then with Clavodian Hero, the whole party does extra damage to chase HP. I can't quite figure out the math correctly, but with force alone, you're getting twice as many launches, and that's besides the fact that Layle himself launches with almost all of his moves. A very obvious comparison is Keiss, who Layle shares a banner and a game with. The way I see it, Keiss makes launches more powerful, while Layle makes launches more common. Yes, part of Keiss's deal is that he can set a target to do an assured launch with his skill 2, but to maximize launches, you'll want to put the buff on someone with a group attack. The launch marker exists because of the buff, but doesn't persist because chase HP was not otherwise affected if you're not hitting with a group attack. Now this isn't to say I'm slandering the power of launch teams, the affectionately called Square Enix Airlines, but if you look at it, that whole team is launchers, with Keiss being able to create more launches and allowing the other units to save their launch skills. With Layle, you're consolidating the launch frequency into a singular unit, allowing you to put a third unit who provides something else to the party. If you want that at least. Again, I'm not trying to put down the effectiveness that is the classic launch team. What I am saying is that Layle accelerates launching in a different way that doesn't necessitate building around launching units, enabling more launches into a team comp as a single unit. One thing I've noticed though is that Layle's strength is in a way deceptive. The majority of his own moves are only 1 HP attack, relying on his allies and the full team launches to boost his damage per turn. He batteries before the launch and after the launch, whereas Keiss batteries during and after the launch. Both of them also have the same amount of landing battery. The thing is, Keiss offers a steroid in his EX buff which increases the party's HP damage in the air, rather significantly in fact. Combined with Pandemonium, a maxed out Keiss boosts the HP damage done in the air by a very high 55%. This improves the landing party battery for free, can be further boosted by buffs and debuffs, and technically has more active time than Layle setting up launches, since Keiss never wants to be the launch starter and the HP damage boost is an aura effect. At this time, Layle does not have any HP damage boosting effects of his own, be it in the air or on the ground, and while he can hit fairly high max bravery numbers with his overflow, only 1 HP attack on most of his moves hurts a lot, especially when using group attacks. If Keiss provides a steroid, Layle provides consistency. Keiss wants to be paired with launchers to continually hit enemies with boosted HP damage and keep the party high on bravery, while Layle works great with battery supports, in a sense being more open to a traditional team comp. As you'd imagine though, both in the same party work great, and filling in that last slot with a healing support or yet another launcher gives you flexibility in approaching a fight. So, with all that said, Layle has yet to be rerun at all, so he's got potentially a big future ahead of him. C90, Burst Plus, and I'd imagine a rework on all of his extensions. For his base skills, well, look at Garland's rework actually. Make his skill 1 like 2 HP attacks with splash on both, and make his skill 2 3 HP attacks. If they added any sort of splash, that would create even more launches, which would be dope but not needed. The EX is currently 8 group hits with 1 HP attack. Double the brave hits, make it into like 3 or 4 HP attacks, and then add either splash or group damage as well as party battery, because right now using his EX usually doesn't lead to satisfying launches. If they add in a small recast speed upgrade, I think that'd make his recast gauge more consistent, as right now his skill 2 will often push his next turn up, which will leave you just a tiny bit off recast. As for his LD, they could basically just make it double cast, a 6-hit group attack done 4 times. Given that Layle's party battery is somewhat decent, it would be nice if the unique effect gained a Brave Gain up aura. Also, have it boost Layle's HP damage by some amount and then boost the party's damage in the air by some other amount. They could be the same amount, but basically they would need to be considered separately since one's a conditional and one is not. They could also improve the modifier on the regen Layle gets and the amount of party battery after HP attacks. So yeah, that's a purple Layle. I enjoy Layle and what he tries to do. He was the original launch enabler because guess what? Long before skill extensions were a thing, Cloud's finishing touch didn't have any HP attacks. He can start launches as well as overall making launches more frequent, not relying on the other units to also be launchers. As much as I enjoy him though, I honestly can't rate him that highly for general use. He's like a middle B, like an 85. Pair him with Keiss and I would give him a low A, but not everyone has that luxury. As units who thrive off creating launches, Layle provides the opener while Keiss provides the follow through. However, at this time, Keiss provides more momentum to a launch-focused team than Layle does, specifically more launch-based battery and far more HP damage potential. Layle encourages launching by being in the party, and certainly functions in a traditional team comp. Pair him with Keiss, and you have a very powerful pair of units and a flexible third slot, so the banner with both of them is a great start to start exploring launch comps. To veterans, this doesn't matter quite as much as they may already have Cloud or Dark Knight Cecil or both, but to newer players, this does give them the team building option, and in fact I will be linking a thread in the description where someone went back and tackled Lufenias using only the units available with the Layle event banners. If you like this character breakdown and want to see others like it, other Opera Omni content, or want to share your thoughts, be sure to stick around and subscribe. Discussion, likes, and shares are always appreciated, and as always, thanks for watching and I hope to see you again.